Alright, it's been a little too long, but now we're finally here. Hey, what's going on everyone? Chris is Weird25 here, back with a new video, finally. It's been a while since I last uploaded, but I'll get into what's been going on in my life in a different video. Let's talk about what's going on right now. Today is Season 18 of Apex Legends, this season being called Resurrections. Alright, so it's been teased for a little while now, and we finally got the trailers for it. So, Revanant Reborn is here. Alright, so with a new season comes obviously a new battle pass and a new collection event on top of that. The new collection event obviously has Revanant's recolored heirloom, so now we have that as well. So we get a bunch of new skins for weapons and characters, which looks pretty alright for the most part. Obviously the store has been updated and we're gonna get a few new things in the store coming this whole month. And then obviously with the new battle pass, obviously we get a few skins, a few gold Apex coins, and all, you know, the usual stuff. So obviously for this season, the EVE 8 gets a legendary skin, but instead of getting it at the end where you unlocked all the battle pass levels, you actually get to unlock it a little bit earlier at around level 25, and the other one at a level 110. I think they were probably doing this just to spread it out, because from last season they did do it where you unlock both skins around 2 different levels right next to one another. So I think it's just a way to spread them out more evenly and have a bit easier access to some players. And for episodes, they didn't do anything too crazy, sadly. Mostly all the episodes sort of regarding this season has been on video. Also, we had around the last collection event, the Neon Network collection event, which had an interesting format as to how you unlock the story. So essentially, you would collect certain nodes, and with those nodes, you could, if you collected enough, you'll get unlocked a radio-like situation where you essentially are able to listen to a part of the story for kill code. But for this, they did a sort of the exact same approach as what they did last season, where all they are just showing is just images that we've already seen from the trailer. So there's nothing interesting going on there. And for Revanant Reborn, we obviously get a new store. So with the new store, we get a new, very interesting skin, actually. Which, it looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But I can't, like, scroll up because this model is massive. And obviously, the more important thing that we're here for today is Revanant Reborn. So here he is in all of his glory. There's been a few big changes obviously to his character, his abilities, and all of that stuff, so we're gonna get right into that. Beginning with the legend screen, the Revenant has moved from an assault class to a skirmisher class. His abilities to open up bins are no longer there. All he can do is look into the care package insight. Obviously, we have a brand new model for Revenant, so here is his new model in all of his glory. Obviously, the major changes that's gone on with his character design is mostly all in the upper half. We have a new face model, he has a new robe slash hoodie, he has a new wings kind of thing going on. He has like a little sharp little wings. But other than that, his design looks relatively the same as the last one. Obviously, he still has that sort of cover around the crotch area and the back area. He still has a similar shape as to his first model. Even as far as the legs, they look pretty much practically the same. The major differences are obviously going to be in his animation, some of his voice lines, and his abilities. Now, not only do you obviously have the new revamp look, you can actually go ahead and go back to his original look. So under the bottom here, you can see classic. Obviously, we get his old model back. His old model, and it has obviously the same animations as the new one. Alright, so here we are in the firing range. We're going to go ahead and test out all of Revenant's new abilities. So his passive, called Assassin's Instinct, is the same as just before. He can climb up walls, but he also has a new ability that says highlight nearby visible enemies who are low on health. You crouch walk faster and have improved wall climbing. Basically, it's the same like his previous model. It's just that now, whenever you have an enemy that's low on health, you'll be able to see it behind certain objects, and it'll be highlighted towards not only to yourself but also to your teammates. His tactical now is called Shadow Pounce. Unleash a powerful pounce forwards. Hold the charge for a further distance. So essentially, he has something similar to what Vantage have, where essentially he can travel from a far distance. So if we hold down his tactical, we see this little animation pop up where his hands start to look like it's on fire. So when we look up and we let go,
no escaping me.
He does this huge leap forwards. And finally, his ultimate, Forge Shadows. Forge a hardened shadow around you that blocks damage and regenerate. Your shadow and tactical are refreshed on knockdowns. So when we press his ultimate button,
I was born in the shadows.
we have Forge Shadows. So essentially, you see a 75% up there. That means he has 75 extra armor. So whenever enemy starts to hit at you, basically that meter starts to go down. And whenever you get kills, the timer goes up.
Down one. Down one more. That pile of corpses, they're mine.
And obviously, like I mentioned before, he has a similar abilities. He's still able to climb up walls and such, like things like that. The only thing they improved on is maneuverability from moving left to right, but it's just mostly it's relatively the same. And this is what his ultimate looks like in third person.
Casting a shadow.
So as you can see, he has this weird little ball situation kind of going where it gives him like some shields. So from the other person, this is what the shields look like. So we're gonna go ahead and activate his ultimate.
Entering the shadows.
So as you saw right there, we got shot down and our shields went down. And right now we see that it's charging. So essentially when it charges up, we get those 75% back. So essentially to the enemy team, you become a bigger target and you also become easier to shoot. So essentially they'll be able to shoot your bubble down, and if you try to hide behind small spaces like I just did right there, they'll be able to shoot that just easily. Now, once that shield goes down, you'll be able to recharge it once you get behind cover and to safety. Now, throughout this whole season, they also have made it so that way you can play Revanant freely. You don't actually have to unlock him to play him, so he's unlocked for everyone this season. However, if you want to unlock him permanently, we have a unlock Revanant challenge rate. So essentially, it gives you 4 things to do to essentially unlock Revanant permanent. So it says here, identify 10 players with Revenant's Assassin's Instinct, pounce 500 meters with Revenant's Shadow Pounce, get 5 knockdowns, kills, or assists while using Revenant's Forged Shadows, and deal 40,000 damage as Revenant in any mode. So obviously this last one's going to be the most hardest one to achieve. And the rest of these are all done on VR. So you have to do all of these challenges to unlock Revenant permanently. So if you want to do a little challenge and you want to play Revenant, obviously there's that to do. Or if you just don't want to do that, you could just easily just unlock him with your Apex thingies, whatever the hell they're called. Now, other than Revenant, there has been a few other changes as well. So we're going to go ahead and start talking about those. So one new thing added to the firing range is that every time you go in, your ultimate's already unlocked. So you no longer have to go to the charge tower or even just wait to unlock your ultimate. It's instantly unlocked, so that way it makes it easier to use it right as you go in. Now there's been a few changes to the guns obviously, so we're gonna go ahead and start talking about those. Let's see, where do we even begin? We can go ahead and start with the care package stuff. So mostly all the stuff is still the same from last season, except for the Prowler has been added to the care package. And not only just that, the Prowler has also got Select Fire Receiver, which is something that has been added since season 4 of Apex. I don't fully recall, but essentially the Prowler, instead of having a 3 burst like it usually does, it does this. Oh my god. Oh, just the sound of it sounds gorgeous. Now, if you're not used to that and you're used to how the Prowler usually is, you could just select B and do fire mode burst. So you could just have your old usual Prowler. But who wants to do that, right? I mean, who just doesn't want to let it rip? Oh my god, that just sounds gorgeous. That's that added to the care package. Now the next change is going to be actually the hop-ups. Last season there was 4, but now they're added a 5th one. So we still have our Skull Piercer, Turbocharger, Hammer Points, but now we have Boosted Loader and Disruptor Rounds. and a double tap trigger has been removed. So with the heavy guns, the Prowler is in the care package and the Hemlock is gone back down to the ground on the floor. And obviously the Hemlock gets this old attachment of boosted loader. So essentially once you get down to at least, I believe it's 9. Yep, from the website it says for the boosted loader, which unlocks for both the Hemlock and Wingman, reloading when near empty will speed up the reloading and overload the next magazine. So essentially with the Hemlock you need to reach at least 9 to reload that quickly, and for the Wingman you need to reach 3. So once you get below 9 you get to reload much more quickly. But sadly the only thing that's strange about the boosted loader now is that you don't really see it says fast reload anymore on the screen. Now you think that might be the only thing that's been added? Oh boy, no, because right now we also have a disruptor round for the alternator. So essentially the alternator usually would usually shoot like this, but when we add disruptor rounds it sounds more like this. God damn, it sounds like a volt. So essentially with disruptor rounds it does increasing damage to shields. That's just crazy. And disruptor rounds don't even not only apply to the alternator, it also applies to Peacekeeper, which it's pretty stupid, but it's kind of funny at the same time. So to any PK players out there, I guess go crazy, go ham. I don't know, overall I don't see a difference in the PK in damage wise, but you know what, maybe that's just me. I'm not too good with the PK anyway. And for the Wingman, so the Wingman now obviously uses the skull piercer shots that usually belongs to the longbow, but as we look in here it actually says hop up attachment slot. So if we select in the middle, it says boosted loader and skull piercer rifling. So that means actually either or can be applied to the Wingman. So we can either apply boosted loader. Now boosted loader is the same as before. Once you reach 2, you're able to reload much more faster. And for skull piercer, basically if you get a headshot, you do much more damage. And finally, the biggest change of them all, the charged rifle. So now the charged rifle acts more like its predecessor back from like Titanfall 2. So now we get this little charge bubble you see right there. And instead of firing a beam, you have to charge it up and then it shoots a single bullet. So now you actually have to hold it to charge it up, and you charge a single shot bullet, which is nice and also makes it a bit more difficult to use than it was before. But now when you're in a close confrontation or one-on-one, you probably don't want to use this as because there's going to be a bit of a delay. You and the enemy are moving around a lot. It's going to be a bit hard to shoot. So it's going to act like a bit like the Havoc, where you're going to have to charge up the shot before you even fire it. So if you go with that, then please be my guest. Go crazy, go ham. Now let's go ahead and get a bit more in-depth into all the changes that's going on this season. For this season, we have a new map rotation. Our map rotation is going to be Broken Moon, Kings Canyons, and Olympus. A bit more into it is that we have a bit of a change to the ring. So essentially what's going on here, it says the ring size changing and ring damage. So essentially the ring 1 has an increase of 10% radius per map. So essentially you have a bit more space in ring 1, but in ring 2 there's a bit being increased damage. So essentially instead of 3 damage per tick is saying 4 damage per tick, so you get a little bit more from ring 2. And from ring 4 essentially they've reduced it, so instead of getting 20 damage per tick, you get 15 damage, so you get 5 less damage, which isn't a lot, but it isn't nothing either. So there's that as well. Overall, what this goes into, the timing changes, is essentially they've reduced the time from when the ring shrinks out to size. So essentially the ring is going to be a little bit faster once it goes down from round 1 to round 2 and from round 2 to round 3. And essentially they stated that the reason that they did this is so that the mid fights in game happen a bit more quicker. Another big change is going to be to the ultimate cooldowns. So basically how long it takes for a bunch of characters going to charge up their ultimate, starting from Bangalore has been added 60 seconds to her ultimate, so essentially making her ultimate charge up time to 240 seconds, 4 minutes basically. So Bangalore is gonna have one of the longest time to charge up her ultimate. So Catalyst's Dark Veil has been increased by 30 seconds, so essentially it's gonna take her roughly, so it'll take her 2 minutes and 30 seconds to charge up her ult. And for Gibby, his ultimate goes down by 96. So now his is gonna take roughly 3 minutes. So Horizon now goes up to 210 seconds. That's 3 minutes 30 seconds. Lova, her Black Market, goes up by 30 seconds. So her ultimate charge up time is 150, which is 2 minutes 30 seconds. Maggie is now 2 minutes. Pathfinder is 3 minutes. Wraith is also 3 minutes. But Maggie, she got an increase of 30 seconds. Pathfinder, an increase of 60 seconds. And Wraith, a decrease of 30 seconds. Obviously, a bit more bigger changes would be to Seer as well, which all of his abilities have been changed a little bit. So the slow duration has been reduced to 0.5 seconds. So it was 2.5 seconds, which I think is a very good benefit to all of us. It seems like we were just slowed for just a long time. So that being decreased, I feel like is a good benefit to everyone. The silent duration reduced to 8 seconds, which was 10 seconds before. So a bit, just a 2 seconds difference. And firing speed increased to 1.4 seconds. It was 0.9 seconds. His tactical is going to be slower for him to throw, but it's also the slow duration for that affects all of us is going to be less. So that's good. So another change that's been added essentially is how much it'll take to reach the next Evo level. So previously it was 150 damage to reach blue, but now they have changed it that way you have to do 200 damage to reach blue. Obviously, other changes also come in the mixtape selection, which has added Broken Moon. So Team Deathmatch and Gun Run map, they added the core. So essentially, it's the big energy thing that's been there. I've tested this out last night, and I gotta say, immediately, it's kind of to say for the most part. It's kind of underwhelming. So it just makes it a bit more not as fun, honestly. And new control map, the production yard. I also got a chance to play this. It's not as exciting as some of the other maps are, but then again, this is just, a few days in, so maybe we'll give it a bit more time and maybe I'll start to enjoy it more. Maybe players will start to like it more, but who knows. Lastly, the big change is going to be in the rank system. So essentially, in last season, the rank system, what they have found essentially was an inflation of players reaching master. So essentially, right here, they have a little map stating that for season 17 percentage player who have reached masters, you see how right here for masters, there's a high limit. So essentially to deflate that and to make it less, so that way it's a bit more evenly distributed, they've changed up the whole LP gains system and how people earn that. So if you want to take a look at that and get real in depth as to how the rank system works this season, I'll leave the link down in the description. Overall, I don't play ranked, so I don't have a really good gauge or understanding of this, so this hardly really applies to me, but still, there's been big changes to that. So with the new season, obviously we get a new prize tracker. So here we have Death Dynasty. Nothing too crazy. Basically, we get a mediocre Caustic Sin, which looks alright. A Rampage skin, a few crafting medals, a few hollow sprays. But actually it gets a bit more interesting when you actually look at it, because into one of the hollow sprays we actually have one that has a Nessie that says what's your name. So essentially kind of like teasing Death Note. It's not only just this, it's also this right here. That's a weapon charm that says Blood Drop, which is Revenant's hand holding an apple, which is also prevalent to Death Note. And also a little bit of spoilers, but I did hear that they're gonna do another anime event, so I guess they're revving up for that as well. It's gonna be exciting. And obviously other big changes has been gone on to the lore, so there's gonna be new voice lines that have added to a bunch of characters. So for Valklova, obviously Revenant, a lot of characters. This video is about 4 minutes long, but there's a lot of juicy stuff going on. Overall, there was like 8 minutes worth of voice lines going on, which if I were to try to record them all, it'll take too long. So those will be linked down in the description. So one final note is that I saw from the changes, I saw that they said that they updated and fixed some of the audio issues that have been going on in last season. However, I've seen some players already start complaining that the audio issues have not been fixed, and honestly, there's not really a big difference. And also some issues where we're getting some dead sliding, so essentially some lag once you put in certain inputs into the game. So that's something I've been seeing. Hopefully that should be patched up soon, because I really don't want to have to fight a 1v3 and have a Pathfinder walk up behind me with no audio and only find out he's there as soon as he starts shooting me in the back. But yeah, other than that, that's mostly been all the changes done towards Apex Legends. There are a bunch of exciting things, but there is also a few downsides nonetheless. As always, when isn't there a downside into this game? But game-wise, pretty much the same, nothing too crazy. But lore-wise, a lot of exciting things. So yeah, it's been really, really interesting to listen and watching all of that. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that video as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm gonna have a bunch of fun probably using that Prowler and that alternator with like the armor piercing rounds. That's gonna go crazy, bro. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later, alligators. Bye.
I look forward to meeting you all. Real close and personal.